It's time for another episode of GHP. If you haven't heard the podcast before, thanks for joining us, and here's how it works. First, we cover Humans Are Cool, which is where we count down our top 3 picks of good news or interesting facts about specific people or our species as a whole. Then, we join the Learning Bunch to run an experiment about human nature in a way that the kids at home can participate. Welcome to Gabe's Humanizing podcast. So let's get started with Humans Are Cool. We'll count down our top 3 picks this week, starting with number 3. Question for you. Are human facial expressions pre-programmed in us, or are they learned behaviors? Social psychologist M.G. Frank, a true expert in the matter, points out that while facial expressions are one of the more important aspects of how we communicate with one another, some of these expressions may be biologically hardwired and are expressed the same way by all peoples of all cultures. Our species has evolved in many ways over the years, surviving dangerous challenges. It's said that some of our facial expressions came about because they helped early humans survive, as they could communicate warnings about danger to one another. The general recognition of these communications would have proven beneficial to the species. Likewise, expressions also communicated safety and permission to approach each other. However, these emotional expressions are not immune to modification by social learning. Different cultures learn different display rules to manage their expressions of emotion. So perhaps the answer to the question is not an either-or, for if expressions are hardwired or learned, but a mix of both. Number 2 is about the research of Margaret Shavlik, a doctoral student and research assistant at Vanderbilt University in Nashville. She recently published a study in the journal Frontiers on Psychology, suggesting that children may prefer to understand why the events in books they're reading occur because of its intrinsic rewards. She says that when children are seeking explanations and finally understand something new, they feel the positive effects of having learned about a new piece of the world. In effect, children may be more motivated to read these types of books rather than those that don't explain the why behind a story's events. Our understanding of this preference may make it easier to foster early literacy. And number 1. This week's top pick goes to Ursula Hess, a Deputy Dean for International Affairs at Humboldt University of Berlin. With masks being a part of our daily lives now, she's focused recent experiments on researching why, how, and when a facial expression can still be detected when obscured by a face covering. The experiments tested people's abilities to correctly identify which emotions another person was expressing, even when wearing a mask. The findings concluded that confusion only occurred for certain emotions, and smiling was not one of them. This gives me an idea. Let's check in with Marie and the Learning Bunch. Marie, are you there?
Yes, hello! How have you been, James?
I'm great, thanks. How about you?
I've been tip-top, but is that any surprise?
Wouldn't expect any different, Marie. So here's the question I have for you to investigate with the Learning Bunch this week. What does a smile sound like?
Oh, how interesting! Lovely! Very well. We'll check back in with you later to share our answer.
Perfect.
Off we go! Hello, Learning Bunch.
Hello.
Oh, hey there.
Kelly, dear, are you there?
We're just about there. Now 2 degrees north, 1 degree west.
Copy that. 2 degrees north. Kelly? Kelly, is that you? Uh-oh. Who is this? Hi, Marie.
What just happened?
Oh, yeah. Who was that?
Totes don't know. How goes it, everyone?
Great.
Kelly, what are you up to? Not much. I'm just, up in space trying to get the SkySat 19 satellite working again.
Oh, say what now?
You're up in space? Yeah, like, is that weird? I told you guys I was smart. Yes, you did, but my goodness, you're a genius. Thanks. Well, thank you so much for making the time to join us from up there. No worries. I think I speak for everyone when I say we are honored. Truly honored. Everyone, I suggest we move this along now. She's in space and we don't want to take up much of her time. Kelly dear, you seem to be extremely familiar with data and communication, correct? Yeah. Marvelous. Well, James has asked us to find an answer to this question. What does a smile sound like? Do you know? No, but I'm totally interested in finding out. Yes, let's. What kind of experiment could we do to help us find the answer?
Well, hold on. Are we gonna find out how Kelly got up in space?
We're, on limited time, Freddy. Let's focus on the experiment.
Okay.
I've got an idea.
Brilliant. What is it?
Well, in a way, this podcast is one giant veil over our mouths. Since we're listening to one another without being able to see each other's faces, agreed?
Yeah.
So here's what we'll do. And kids, try this along with us. We're going to listen to the difference between when we say something without a smile versus when we say the same thing with a smile.
Oh, I like this.
I'll go first. Here we go. What does a smile sound like? What does a smile sound like? Did you hear the difference?
I think so.
Marie, can I go next? Yes, Kelly, go ahead. What does a smile sound like? What does a smile sound like? That sounds the same, dear. Try again. Okay. What does a smile sound like? What does a smile sound like?
Okay, my turn. What does a smile sound like? What does a smile sound like? Oh, I heard it that time.
Just lovely. Now, kids, it's your turn. Okay, everyone, what did you notice in the difference between the two times you asked the question? It was almost brighter with a smile than without it.
Yeah, it sounded more inviting and pleasant with a smile.
I thought so too. So, Learning Bunch, are we ready to report our findings to James?
Yeah.
Right then. James, dear.
Hi, Marie. How'd the gang do?
Oh, they did wonderfully. And so did the kids at home. You asked us to find out what a smile sounds like, and we learned that a smile isn't necessarily one short sound, like a door shutting, but a recognizable tone of emotional expression. We tried saying the same sentence twice in a row, once with smiling and once without, and we heard a brighter, more pleasant tone in our voices when we said it with a smile.
Excellent work, everyone. Thanks so much for helping me out with this.
Yeah, but I still have some questions for Kelly.
Bye, Marie. Bye, everybody.
Kelly, you there? Come on. You were just in college last week. How are you in space?
We ran out of time with her, Freddy.
Come on out, Kelly.
She's not there, Freddy.
What's a one-week college graduate doing with a satellite anyway? Kelly,
And
come on
we'll
now.
just fade you
Answer me.
out like that. And there. Okay, Learning Bunch. I'll check back in with you next week to ask you a new question to investigate. Take care, gang.
Goodbye,
Bye,
James.
Alright, listeners, that's it for today's episode. We'll be back next week to have some fun with the Learning Bunch, and we send a big thank you to Seymour for providing the research and news articles for Humans Are Cool. If you have a great positive story about a person or group being cool in the world and would like it featured on Humans Are Cool, please email us at gabeshumanizingpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear it, and we would love to share it. And remember to please take a minute to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on social media. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm James P. Castor. Until next time, take care and stay human.